A lot happened this week. My goodness. A white mother of a 13-year-old biracial son in Virginia is suing his school over the anti-racism curriculum. His mother claims it has changed his overall perspective on race. We have a clip. Take a look.
Right. We didn't have issues before. He's in 8th grade. They introduced this critical program, and now he's having racial issues that was not there before.
What kind of racial issues is he having?
Well, he's seen himself just as a black man. He's seen things that don't go his way as racism, and he's finding safety in numbers now.
So when you're saying he gets a bad grade at school, he blames racism, or a girl rejects him on a date, racism, are those the kind of things you're seeing?
Yes, I ask him to clean the house, racism, yes.
I think this whole idea is racism.
First of all, he sounds like a comedian to me. And
listen, I really hope, I hope that, well, I would wish that more parents of white supremacists would see this problem. That's what I would hope. Because if we had white mothers going on Fox News to say, well, you know, I think that my son is a racist. He has done this 180-page manifesto that I found, and he thinks that black people are going to begin to control the world. He thinks that our race is going to become the minority. Like, where are those mothers and their concerns is what I'm trying to figure out right now. Go ahead, Alicia.
Yeah, they're certainly never going to be on Fox News. And I knew it was either going to be Florida, Virginia, or Texas. And this woman is such a daggone joke. First of all, the young man is aging. And 13 is around the time when you really start seeing race. That's when I started seeing it. And it's natural maturation. He's maturing. He's seeing stuff. And Fox News, such a joke. Oh, the girl rejects him on a date. Racism. First of all, she wouldn't have agreed to date him if she was a racist. So just shut up. That whole network just gets on my daggone nerves. And that mother, the man who procreated with her. Let's start there. They need to stop sleeping with these white supremacists. They act like they can't see it in advance. Pay attention to who you're laying down with. How about that? Because now she said, I'm a single mother. So that means the man is gone. You left your child in the house with that woman. And that's a bigger issue to me than what he's talking about and learning in school. And you notice how she was slick. She didn't say critical race theory. She said critical. Then she paused and said program, because she knew she was about to tell a lie. They're not teaching critical race theory there. They're teaching him about life. And she's going to have bigger issues with him. Now, I guess he has more black friends because she's saying he's finding strength in numbers. So she's mad that the Negroes are joining together. But guess what, ma'am? That's what he is. When you slept with a black man, you knew you weren't having a white child. So stop playing dumb. I mean, well, she might not be playing. She might actually just be dumb.
Well, you know, I wish my mother would have gone on the news when I didn't get the part of Lucy in elementary school when they did the Peanuts play. I felt like it was racism, and I think that was my first experience with racism. Or I could have just been bad. I could have not been a good actress to play Lucy.
Girl, it was racism for sure.
Racism. I think it's racism today when I don't get these parts, even though it's black producers. Go ahead, Jeff.
My thing is, why are you taking this seriously anyway? That heifer was lying. I don't believe a word she was saying. I think that she concocted most of this, at least most of this. If you notice that when she's talking, she doesn't go into any generalities as to what he's actually being taught. He's not talking about what the teacher said to him to make him think these things. To me, this sounds like what not all white people, but some, what they think that we think when we're seeing them. That's how she was trying to explain it. Like, we don't think that every single thing is racism, but she was trying to make it sound like her kid was assuming that because of the color of his skin. Like, no, she got it all wrong. Like, if you're gonna lie about it, at least try to be convincing. Sit down with some black people and try to figure out where they're coming from, so that when you go on Fox News and you tell that lie, you're at least somewhat convincing. I don't believe a word of what she was saying. And that doesn't mean I don't think that there isn't problematic stuff being taught in schools in problematic ways. I do think there are some issues, but this ain't it.
Dr. Oleka?
I look at this, I think, in a different perspective. I actually had a conversation with a father the other day. He and his wife are white. They have an adoptive black son, and he reached out to me just from mutual friends and said, "Look, our kid is about 9 years old, and he's really starting to talk about race and understand race, and we don't know how to understand it." And we had a conversation. Obviously, it said, "Well, you have a black son, so this is how he's going to experience the world in a way that's different." I talked about the importance of having black male mentors, people that he can see that look like him, that he can look up to. I bring that up in this context because it's unfortunate that this woman, if she is telling the truth, is effectively putting out in the public that she has difficulty raising her son, who is a different ethnic background than her. Her son is mixed, but the world sees him as black, and he's now understanding that, and that's how he apparently, again, assuming this is all true, is starting to identify. I can see how that can be hard for parents. My wife is Filipina, I'm black. Our oldest daughter has some Asian features, so we've had conversations about how is she going to identify? Is she going to consider herself to be Asian only? Is she going to consider herself to be a black woman? How do we help her understand that she is multiracial and multi-ethnic? So I bring it up to say, yes, if she's lying, then she's lying, and that's a problem. I don't like the fact that these conversations about parenting in multiracial families have become so politicized that this woman felt that the right decision was to get on national television and effectively air her grievances about the difficulties of parenting. So I hope she can get that figured out. I really do, because that young man is a black man. That's how he is seeing himself. That's how the world sees him. And he's got to figure out a way. Hopefully he can get some mentors in his life to speak some positivity into him about what that means to be black.
Yeah, I myself identify as a white woman, but I've not found any mentors to guide me through that. Dominique, go ahead.
Well, my mom is white and my dad is black, and I've had these conversations from every angle you can imagine. But what was so frustrating for me about watching this woman, number one, she's willing to throw her son under the bus on national television, mocking and belittling him as a black man. That's going to do lifelong damage, not only to her son, but to their relationship. Number two, she clearly has invested zero time in understanding the black experience, black history, or what she was taking on by giving birth to a black child. And yes, I agree with Dr. OJ. We have to know the difference between ethnicity, culture, nationality, and race, which is a made-up social construct, so that we don't say dumb stuff. When this child discovered that he was black, which is what it sounded like happened, and then got him some black friends, she was offended. She should have done the research, done the work to be able to support him as a black child with multi-ethnic, multicultural roots in white supremacist America. Otherwise, you're sending this child, you're sending them with a knife to a gunfight. And that's not fair. I've had this argument with several white moms who have black children who are in denial. Well, he's not really black. I don't even believe in the term biracial. I think there's one race, it's the human race. You can have multi-ethnicities, multicultures, and multiple experiences. Maybe dual nationality, but we're all human race as far as I'm concerned.